Hey guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to season 4 of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. I have a lot of surprises and changes coming to you this year. But before I start implementing those changes, I wanted to put this gentleman on, and I wanted him to be the first of guest in 2023 because he has a lot to share about how he grew his agency working with just you guys, working with just attorneys, and he has a lot of insights as to how you can grow your current firm beyond belief. One of the things I love doing is teaching, but another thing I love doing is learning. And I know I'm going to learn a lot just from interviewing this gentleman, and I'm hoping that you do the same. So without further ado, enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Today, as I said in the pre-intro, I have a guest that actually does similar things to I do in terms of digital marketing, and he also works with attorneys. So I want to introduce him to you only because I think he does it a little bit different from me, and you probably get a lot out of it. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the great Richard Jacobs. Hey, Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks. From the great Frank. It's good to meet you.
Awesome. Hey, I said a little bit of things about you in the pre-intro, Richard, but in your own words, who's Richard Jacobs? Who are you and what do you do?
Well, what I do is I've been running a marketing company for small law firms, in personal injury, bankruptcy, divorce, et cetera, for about 13 years. We started out as like a lead generation company. Used to be called My DUI Attorney. Now it's Speakeasy Marketing. So we do full service marketing for attorneys nationwide. And on the side, to keep my intellect going, I do a podcast called Finding Genius Podcast. But I intend to interview scientists there and learn about those topics. So those are like the two main things I do. Got a wife and kids, so they keep me really busy tending to them and trying to help them move along. So that's
Right.
That's like a big part of what I do.
Finding Genius. I love that topic. I got to check that out. I got to look it up. Oh, yeah, I get into crazy things. Anyway, yeah, in preparation for this interview, Richard, I was doing some digging on your profile on LinkedIn and other stuff on the interwebs. So I have a few questions for you, if you don't mind hanging out with me for a few minutes here, so we can know a little bit more about you and see how my audience can actually help you towards the end. Does that sound good?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So you've been working with attorneys, you said, for 13 years. That's phenomenal. Attorneys are interesting people. So can you tell me, can you tell us what have you learned from working with and promoting over 1,200? That's amazing. Over 1,200 attorneys nationwide. What have you learned?
That's a huge question. I can tell you I have a tremendous amount of respect for attorneys. I've, been in legal trouble, nothing terrible. Luckily I've never been divorced, but I've been bankrupt before. I've had to deal with, like, one time I let a pool go green on a house I had, and they issued like a criminal citation, a misdemeanor on it, which was ridiculous. So I dealt with the legal system, and I've had different attorneys. I was in a car crash about 5 years ago, and I had a personal injury lawyer help me. So not only do I work with them, unfortunately, I've had to patronize their services. So I can tell you that, if you're in trouble and most people go to attorneys because something bad has happened. You definitely want someone that's really going to help you and be in your corner and care, and not just say thanks for your money, goodbye. So I have a lot of respect for attorneys. I mean, they perform an incredibly important service in our society. Them themselves, they're very unusual creatures. I've taken on, I think, a lot of their personality. My wife sometimes says, "Stop interrogating me like an attorney." We're working with them for so long. I try not to do that. So again, I've learned that a lot of people see them as just money bags. Oh, attorneys have money. I'm going to market to them and take that money, and I understand they have a very tough time of it. They're trying to work. They're trying to help clients. They're getting calls from new potential clients. They're getting calls from existing clients they have to deal with. They have to go to court. There's just like a flurry of activity. And unfortunately, they've been trained to do the law, but they're not business people. So they need help. They know they want to do marketing. They know they want to get business, but again, they don't know how to do it. And you have a lot of companies there that may come in and may try the best for them or may not, but they're just like kind of awash in this world of marketing. They have to do it. They don't really like to do it. They got to spend money, but maybe I'm rambling here, but that's kind of the picture I see of them. So I think I have an idea of what their day is like and how they perceive marketing. So I got to navigate that. It's not easy.
No, it's not. One thing is funny. I've been in business 15 years, but I haven't been marketing to attorneys all those 15 years. I just started in the last 2 years. And the one thing I've noticed in these last 2 years is that, and people forget this, attorneys are human beings too. So you gotta, people look at them as, oh yeah, they're money hungry, $500 an hour or $400 an hour. They think that's a lot, but they're human beings and they like to enjoy themselves just as much as you and I do. So, that's one thing I've noticed.
I've had clients that have died. I've had clients that have been killed. I've had clients that have killed other people. I've had clients that have, again, died of cancer, retired, all kinds of crazy things. So they're just regular people, just like everyone else.
Yeah, they're just regular people. All right, cool. So in my research, I also noticed, Richard, this was phenomenal. This intrigued me quite a bit. So I hope you dive into this a little bit. That you've written 4 books. And first of all, first question is like, why 4 books? And what was the purpose of the books? Was it just to get the word out there about you, or give us some insight as to why you wrote these books?
Yeah, so I've been studying marketing the whole time for 13 years. One of my big mentors is Dan Kennedy. He's huge in the direct marketing world. And I remember going to a convention of his, I believe in 2011 or 2012. And I met a dentist, and the dentist had written a book, on dentistry and the common problems people have. I met a CPA that wrote a book. I met like 7 or 8 different professions. And I was like, this is weird, a book. What do you do with it? And they told me they would give it to potential clients, and it would get the clients to sign up with them more often than not, because they were giving them their knowledge. They weren't just giving them sales pitch. So I thought, all right, I've got to do the same thing for my business. And at that time, I had built up enough experience where I wrote about my experiences. I wrote about what I was doing for the attorneys that I saw was working and what wasn't working. And that became my first book, which was called Secrets of Attorney Marketing, Law School Dares Not Teach. So I came out with that. We started sending it to clients, to potential clients. And I would get calls like this. Hey, Rich, I read your whole book. It's really great. I read it on vacation on the beach. So, okay. What can you do to help me? I said, what? In my mind, I said, what do you mean? What could you do to help me? You just read the whole book. And I gave it my all. I didn't hold anything back, like secrets or anything like that. But what I saw is that it attracted attorneys to me. It was just, they like to read, thank God. They're diligent and they'll go through a whole book. They have the attention span to do it. And it compelled them to want to work with me because I demonstrated that I knew what I was talking about without pitching them and saying, hey, buy this. And, So books have been huge. I would say my business would probably be 80% smaller without books. It's been the number one thing that has helped me get business and establish a platform. Yep, definitely.
That's outstanding, 100%. Man. Kudos to you, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. You know, it's so funny though. Another book that I saw that you wrote, I want to touch on. I would love for you to touch on it if you don't mind. Is, but I only had two beers. That's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
talk to us about that.
That was yeah. When first I worked only with DUI attorneys, and we
Gotcha.
provided leads to them nationwide. So that's a very common thing that certain people will call and say, "But I only had two beers," and then the police still arrest them anyway. And or they'll say to the lawyer, "I only had one beer, or I only this, or I only that." So I thought it'd be a tongue in cheek. I was actually toying with the idea of calling it "I drive better when I'm drunk," but then my wife said, "Do not do that title. That's a horrible title." So I kind of scaled it back to that. But it was tongue in cheek. It was funny, and it got attention for the book. That was what I did. Is I took questions about DUI and I asked a whole bunch of DUI attorneys. So I would have a question and like 4 or 5 different attorneys' answers to that question. So I
Mm.
think it's like a really accessible conversational style type book for people that want to know more about DUI if they're in trouble.
So it's an interactive type book. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
And I love the title.
thank you.
That caught my eye. All right, so give us some success stories, man. You're a very interesting guy. I mean, because that's a different way of getting leads. A lot of people don't think about getting a book, and I am familiar with Dan Kennedy as well. So, I'm glad we're probably in the same circles. Um, but give us some success stories. Is of one not some. Just give us one. I mean, I don't want to
Sure.
have you reveal everything. Just one success story that you say that you're so proud of, that that it's something that makes you get up in the morning and keep going. What's that one success story?
Well, let's see. I'll pick kind of, I guess, an unusual, funny one. We have one attorney is a Vietnamese guy, and what we'll do is we'll call on past clients of some of our attorney clients and ask them for a review.
Mhm.
We can't really incentivize them or anything, but we ask for an honest review. But the fact that you call and ask really helps. You can't just email them or just say, "Hey, leave me a review," and forget about it. So the attorney provided a list, I think, of like that is almost 1,000 past clients, which is really rare. Usually, it's hard to get these lists out of them, but he provided it, and my
Whoa.
team screwed up. They contacted everyone on the list,
Ha!
but the guy got 127 reviews in one day, and I was like, "Oh no!" I thought it would blow up his Google listing or anything or something.
Wow.
And the guy freaked out too. He goes, "What's going on?" I got. So he said, "Sorry, we were supposed to do the list in pieces, but we did the whole thing." But I learned that the guy had a really good rapport with his clients, and I didn't at the time, because we have so many clients. I didn't know that he was Vietnamese. I have to do more of the high level work, so I don't get to interact with all the clients as much as I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I started seeing all the reviews, and they had all these Vietnamese names. So I
Right.
said to my customer service person, I said, "Is this lawyer Vietnamese?" "Yes." I said, "Oh, because all the reviews are coming in from different Vietnamese people." And then I
Mm.
thought, well, does the guy do a newsletter? And does he have articles in Vietnamese and English on his site? Does he say we support the Vietnamese community? Blah, blah, and no. So we contacted the guy and we said, "All right, you got all these reviews." And once he calmed down from his heart attack, he was happy.
Hmm.
But we said, "Hey, are you doing anything for your community? Because they love you. Look, they're reviewing you." And he's like, "Well, I know they like me and I work with the community a lot, but I haven't thought about that." So we changed his website up a little bit to add some of that. We started a newsletter to his past clients. Sometimes they would have a recipe, et cetera, but it had an article too in Vietnamese. And the guy's business like took off. He started getting so many more calls and so much more business, not just because of the reviews, but because now he was saying, "Yes, I'm here for you, and I'm one of you," et cetera. So that was like it was a really interesting case study of how the attorney benefited in a way that was like right under his nose. He never would have imagined.
So, what I want the audience to take note there. Notice he is doing the same, digital marketing and everything like that. But notice the success that client got on little things, because that's such a small little tweak. I don't believe in what I don't believe in flukes, by the way, Richard, and I'm sure you don't either. Uh, it wasn't a fluke. But it was a small thing that helped him blow up his business unexpectedly, and it was a mistake. So
Mhm.
think about that. So I just want the audience to take note of that. Sometimes you gotta take some risks and stuff because I sometimes I don't know if you can run into this, Richard. I have some clients that are a little hesitant on things that I suggest. Oh, we should try this next. We should try that next, and they're a little hesitant because it's a little off the cuff and it's a little bit different. Maybe next month or maybe in a few months or a few years or whatever.
Right.
So, but I want my audience to understand, if you're working with a digital marketing agency and they're telling you or they're advising that you do something, take note and just listen to remember the story that Richard just shared and say, hey, you know what? Let me try it. Maybe it'll blow up like that for me. That's awesome. I'm glad you shared
Yeah.
that, and I'm glad I asked you. So so you do you offer a full gamut of digital marketing products, or is it something that you concentrate most on?
Well, we focus on attorneys, small firms, 1 to 3 attorneys. And what we do is we offer a suite of like 10 or 12 different items. So we'll do like a newsletter, we'll do live chat, we'll, redo their site so it's mobile friendly. We do, this is a unique thing that we do is we do content interviews. So
Mhm.
we'll interview the attorney every quarter, over the phone for like an hour. We'll get that transcribed and that turns into like 7 or 8 articles. And those get drip posted on their site. They become YouTube videos. They go everywhere, all over their social media.
Mhm.
So content is really the heart of a lot of what we do. And I can tell you a story of why it's important. But so we do a suite of things for the attorneys, every month throughout their work with us. You can't just really do one thing is the reason. You have to
Right,
be
right.
firing on a bunch of cylinders to get stuff done.
Yeah, it takes yeah. It's kind of the whole concept of it takes a village to raise a child, right? But but yeah, touch on the content thing because I would like the audience to embrace content marketing. I'm a huge advocate of content marketing. I'm a huge advocate of dispersing like for instance, we're producing content right now. This
Right,
is a
exactly.
content marketing piece. So talk a little about how content marketing can help an attorney.
Well, all right. So this comes from my direct experience. So when I first started, I created myduiattorney.org, and we provided, again, DUI leads nationwide. And I thought, I'm going to get to be #1 for DUI attorney and DUI lawyer in the whole United States. And at one point, I got there. I was visiting California, and I was checking the rankings like constantly on my phone, and I hit it. DUI attorney and DUI lawyer for maybe a week. I was up there at the #1 spot, but it brought almost no traffic to the website.
Mm.
I thought, what's going on here? How could that be? I'm at the top. This is like the golden land, the place you're supposed to be. And then I had done some consulting with some other SEO experts, and I had started to figure out that you don't want to just rank for a couple different keywords because that does nothing for you. And I saw it firsthand. So I started expanding the content on the site. We would talk about breath tests. We would talk about field sobriety tests. We would talk about everything related to DUI for people that don't understand. And as I added content to the site, we started to get more and more traffic, and we started to rank for hundreds and then thousands of keywords. So I got the
Nice.
site to the point where it was bringing in probably about 1,200 organic visitors a day, and then it was generating a lot of leads. But it was, again,
Outstanding.
not by laser focusing on just one thing or just keep hammering the same old keywords, but it was about getting all this content out there in a lot of different mediums and answering the billions of questions that people have about what's going on with them. And that's what worked with the site. So that's what we want to recreate with our attorneys.
Yes,
They
that's
still think, a lot of them, oh, I want to be a car crash lawyer, Ohio, or divorce attorney, Houston. But that's only a tiny fraction of the
mhm.
possible world out there of business you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. We that's what I always tell the audience. That's understanding the algorithm because Google, well, all the search engines actually will understand the relation between what you're typing and what that main keyword is. So don't underestimate that algorithm. It's an amazing piece.
Yeah.
Mm. Hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the content that our guest is bringing you today. Incidentally, speaking of the guests, if you would like to be a guest on this show, if there's something that you would like to promote when it comes to digital marketing or anything within your business that you would like to promote, give us a call at 888-416-7752 or simply send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Someone from my office will then send you the podcast intake form and we will schedule you on the show. So if that's something you would like to do, go ahead and do that and I'll put you on the show. For now, enjoy the rest of the show. So let's say an attorney comes to you. He's a startup. He just left a successful firm. And he says, you know what? I'm going to hang my shingle. I'm going to grow my own firm. Give that attorney some tidbits on how to build a successful successful firm via marketing.
Well, there's a lot to it. So again, all this comes from my direct experience. So we recently it's been about a year. We started up an answering service where we answer the phone for attorneys.
Awesome.
So I'm seeing new information just from that. I'll tell you about. So some of our firms that are really successful, 30 or 40% of their calls are from current clients. So their success is starting to drown them because they can't be interrupted 100 times a day because they got to get work done. They got to service the existing clients. They got to talk to new ones. They got to do all that stuff. But these attorneys, again, what's happening is they're getting a lot of new clients in, but now once they have them as clients, if they don't have systems to service them, they're calling and cluttering up the phone. And it's hurting the attorney's business and it's preventing them from getting a lot further. So that's just like one aspect of being an attorney. Another huge aspect, again, is marketing. So you can't just pin your hopes only on pay-per-click or pin your hopes only on Yelp or Avo or whatever it is. I've seen attorneys that say, I love Avo. It's amazing. It gets me all this business. Other ones say, I hate Avo. It's a scam. It's garbage. I've seen some attorneys, I love SEO. And some are like, oh, it's a scam. It doesn't work. Every single marketing technique I've ever seen, some attorneys love it. Some attorneys hate it. But the most successful ones will do 2, 3, 4, 5 different marketing schemes and they'll keep them going. They understand them. They know if it's profitable. They've been doing them for a while. That's what a successful firm does. So they'll do like SEO. They may add in pay-per-click. They'll do a newsletter. They'll do a book, for potential clients. They may do radio ads. They'll do live chat. They'll, on and on and on and on and on. That's how people grow a successful firm. It's not just like one-hit wonders or, and unfortunately, if you're a great attorney, you may end up being a really successful, wealthy one, but a lot of times you may not. You may be the greatest attorney in the world, but a lot of those people are in obscurity. A lot of them don't even have websites. So they're hard to find. And then some of the ones that do the best, they're all over billboards and marketing and all that stuff, but they're, the McDonald's of attorneys. They're not great. They just know how to market, so they get a lot of business. So unfortunately, that's the reality of it.
Yeah. And that, that I love that you said that because I talk a lot on this show about, multi-channel. Those days of just one avenue to get leads is they're gone. Why? Because it's competitive. I mean, if you're a personal injury law attorney in say New York City, good luck.
I mean, you can still actually. It's funny in the personal injury world. A lot of people are afraid because they see the big guys everywhere, but there's still room. I mean, there's niching down, serving a specific population. Like some guys will do just motorcycle accidents or trucking accidents, or there's ways to niche down in each practice area.
Yeah, I know. I used to have an attorney that only focused on dog bites. That's all he wanted to do. Well, he was an older guy. He'd done it all before, and he was winding down his career. He goes, you know what? I'm just interested in stuff like dog bites because those are easy. So you got to niche down. This is awesome. I love it. I've like I told you before, I love talking to other marketers, especially a marketer that's working with the same avatar that I work with. So that's awesome.
I want to know if it's all right with you. I wanted to give one more story of why multi-channel is important.
Oh, 100%, man. Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. So people don't realize that, surprise, surprise, not everyone uses the same channels.
Yep.
Like there's a coffee place that I used to go to and they would annoy the heck out of me because they're closed sometimes. And I would say, hey, what's going on? Oh, we posted it on Instagram. I don't use Instagram. Sorry. Well, sorry. That's where we posted it. Sorry, I ain't coming here anymore. Your customers may be on Instagram, they may be on YouTube, they may read your website, they may listen to the radio, they may see a billboard, they may read a book. If you don't cover a few bases at least, you're just cutting yourself off from a big supply of people. Well, you don't want a client with a really good case that came off of Instagram because you don't like Instagram? It's foolish. Just as an example. So multi-channel is critical because not everyone lives in the same world. Some people love golf. Other people could care less about it. So, you got to realize people live in different worlds. And if you want to attract them, you got to be out there in different channels.
In different channels. Exactly. Yep. Love it. Quick question. Let's get some advice here also. And, all right, you gave us, what would you do to be successful? That guy just walked out. Now, but let's talk about positioning, because positioning yourself in a competitive market it's important too. I mean, it's one thing to market yourself. How do you position yourself? Like what would be your best advice of positioning?
Well, just like you mentioned, the dog bite attorney, why do you want to position? So how do you want to be positioned, and then why? You got to have a reason why. You can't just say like, oh, these kind of cases make me the most money, that's why I want to do them.
Yeah.
After you're an attorney for a while, like, I had one lady, she's a divorce attorney, and she was really big into father's rights. She had a personal story, she asked me not to share it, but she had a personal story with family law and all that. So she went through the ringer with it. So for her, father's rights were like really important. And that's how she positioned her website. When most divorce attorneys or family law attorneys just say, hey, we do divorce, mediation, separation, everything. Other ones, like I said, they've had personal experiences in their life and they want to hone in, or in criminal defense. Typically when lawyers get older, they don't want to do felonies as much because it consumes their whole life. So they want to do misdemeanors, like easier cases, like your guy did with dog bites. It's not that it's a misdemeanor, but it's just an easier, quieter case. I had one attorney, he did a death penalty case. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really prestigious. He goes, I had no life for like a year and a half. He said, you don't realize how all-consuming it is. If someone's life is at stake, it was in a state where they will, put them to death. So he said it was all-consuming. So I didn't realize that. You think it's glamorous. But getting back to positioning, you got to pick what kind of cases you like. Where do you get cooperative clients? Where do you get decent money for the cases? You don't have to just run and go for volume. Where do you feel intellectually satisfied? Where actually might you make a name for yourself? Maybe you can get a case that will really elevate you in a certain area, like a famous divorce case, or, again, a famous criminal case, or whatever it is. So those are some of the aspects of positioning people need to consider. Who do you want to be, and to who do you want to be?
Yes.
If you're just a generic attorney, you have no power to compel people. They can just scroll through on their phone and click 8 million other ones. So positioning is very important.
Yeah, the reason I asked you that question is because I know that there's someone out there that's listening that needed to hear that. I don't know, there's something in my gut that says, they need to hear that answer. So I hope you got a lot out of it. Whoever that person is, it's just a gut feeling. All right, so let me
actually one more thing I want to say about positioning that's important. It is scary. I felt the same way. If you're going to do X, you can't do Y. What if I'm missing out? What if I get a client? You have to realize, like, if you niche properly and if you position yourself properly and strongly, you'll do so well. You won't worry about what you're missing. Like, I only work with small firms. I don't work with large firms. We have about 8 practice areas that are our predominant ones. Yes, we do some of the other ones, but I know my core business. And I get enough business dealing with those people, and I'm more attractive to them because I specialize. This is what I do, and this is what I focus on. So they're like, all right, we're going to go with him. So again, there's this fear of missing out. You got to recognize that, but don't let it stop you from niching. So.
Yep, that's 100%. I mean, yeah, it is a fear of it, but it's a scarcity mindset. But that's a whole different topic of conversation. There, it's a scarcity mindset. So I'm glad you said that, and I hope, like I said, I hope that helped somebody. Let me ask you this. I want to help you as much as possible. For this interview. What I know who you work with, small firms, 1 to 3 attorneys and all that. That's great. But what's your ideal customer like right now that if that person's listened to it and they pick up the phone and call you, you'll be like, Frank, I'm going to buy you 2 beers, but don't put me in the book. I'm just joking.
No problem. The ideal customer is an attorney that knows they have to do marketing forever as long as they're an attorney. Some people think, oh, I'm going to do marketing for 6 months and then things get good. And then they say, oh, I'm going to put it on pause because things are going good. And that's a big mistake, because as we're seeing right now with the economy, things are very quickly turning over and getting bad. So I'm now starting to get calls from some attorneys that said, oh, everything was great. And now they're upset. I'm not getting as many calls. What do I do? We got to turn back the marketing on. But you don't want it to be like that. You got to continuously do marketing forever. So my best clients, some of them I've had for like 12 years, a few of them, and they understand it's not an expense, it's an investment, but we just got to do it forever. Yeah. But if you're paying X amount for marketing and you're getting in enough cases where you're making like a 3 or 5 times return, don't stop. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the clients that I like, and the ones that want to try new things, the ones that are doing it for a reason and not just money, the ones that are actually really good attorneys because they dig in deep and they care. That's like the ideal client to me, because I got great material to work with because they're interesting and they're interested and they know that marketing is important. So those are my favorites.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Much appreciated. So before I let you go, what's the website where people can check you out?
Yeah, the main website is speakeasymarketinginc.com. So speakeasymarketinginc.com. That's where they can, find out everything about attorney marketing.
Awesome. And do I have your permission to put your LinkedIn link on the show notes as well? Because I'm going to put your website on the show notes, but can I put your LinkedIn as well? Awesome.
Sure. No, I don't want people to contact me. Don't. Yeah. No, definitely. That's great.
Hey, you'll be surprised, Rich. I've had people on the show say, no, I don't want that. Because they had the scarcity mindset. All right. One last question before I let you go. Is there anything I did not ask you that you think will benefit the audience?
So I would say this. I just said this to a friend recently. In marketing, there's concepts I heard 10, 15, 20, even 50 times, and I finally got them. I was finally ready to learn them. Some of them took 10 years or longer. Some of them I still haven't learned. So don't think you're stupid. Don't think like, why does this person look so successful and I can't make it work? It takes time to understand this stuff. And a lot of what you do in marketing is going to fail, but learn from it and keep going and never give up. What I've noticed, like when you have a marketing puzzle, when you don't understand an industry and you're trying, once you figure it out, it just opens up and falls apart. And it's like, now it's easy. It's like the door is open, you walk in and everything is like a million times easier. But until you get to that point, it's hard banging your head against the wall and trying to understand the customer and trying to make this stuff work. So don't give up. And again, you're not stupid. People that are learning marketing and trying, keep at it and you'll get better and better and better and better. But it just takes time.
There you go. Words of wisdom from the great Richard Jacobs, everyone. So that's awesome. I'm going to put every single thing on the show notes. Like I said, I was going to do, and I'm looking forward to everyone benefiting from this episode. And hey, if you're an attorney, and where area are you in right now?
I'm in Austin, Texas, but we work with attorneys nationwide. Any of the 50 states.
Right. So if you're an attorney and you are looking for some whiz bang marketing advice from a great marketer, and I can tell you he's a great marketer, from another marketer to another marketer, I can tell you he's great. Look him up, Richard Jacobs. So this is it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Everything will be on the show notes, as I said. This has been Frank Deming, the local business guy. You've just been blessed by the great Richard Jacobs. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Until next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.